Joined now by Republican Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona. Senator Flake, thanks for coming on. Always good to talk to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Let me start with these comments by the president on the judiciary and on Senator Blumenthal. Any of them appropriate in your mind?
Well, let me just say, I met with Judge Gorsuch yesterday. This did not come up during that time, but he did bring up the importance of the independence of the judiciary, and he feels very strongly about that. So I wasn't surprised at all when I heard the comments that he had made to Ben Sasse and apparently to Senator Blumenthal as well.
Look, I know you've been on the other side of Trump tantrums. You've been the target of them in various ways. And I know you've probably had people either try to reach out to him, maybe you've tried to reach out. Why do you think that when he's criticized, that the knee-jerk response is criticize back and make it 10 times worse?
I don't know. I don't want to get into that at all. I just want to say that Judge Gorsuch did himself well yesterday in his meetings around Capitol Hill from those that I've talked to. He's a great pick, and I applaud President Trump for picking him, and I think that he will get north of 60 votes in the Senate. And saying what he did about the independence of the judiciary will do nothing but help him get those 60 votes that he needs.
I understand that, but you're not troubled at all by sort of the way this is a consistent and constant way that the White House is It was one thing I think a lot of people said, well, the campaign's the campaign. They're not going to do this once they're in the White House.
Well, of course I was troubled by the comments about the judiciary. You can criticize opinions or the way they got to it, but you don't criticize judges. And I think that's the way, it ought to be, that we respect the independence of the judiciary. Obviously, we complain a lot about decisions. Living in the Ninth Circuit, I'm used to doing that, but we don't go after individual judges.
Let me ask you, though, about the larger, darker portrait that the president paints of the country. Today, he said this: criminal cartels that have spread across our nation, destroying blood of our youth and other people. Yesterday, in a law enforcement meeting, he said, I think our security is at risk today. Tuesday, he said, this is a very dangerous period of time. Monday at CENTCOM, we will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to take root in our country. Saturday, in a tweet, many very bad and dangerous people may be pouring into our country. Is this the picture of America that you see from Arizona?
No, I live in bright and sunny Arizona. We have a different view there. I'm very optimistic about our future. I do agree. I think the court will come out and affirm the president's ability to have a ban on travel. Having said that, I don't agree with that ban on travel. I think that that's the wrong way to go. I believe we ought to have vetting, certainly. We ought to make sure that those who come here don't want to do us harm, but I think we have some of those procedures in place, and we can get others in place and welcome people here. And in terms of where America is going from here, I'm a lot more optimistic. I think we've got a great country, and we can make it even better.
And final question, later in the show, I'm going to have the foreign minister of Mexico on. He was visiting with Secretaries Kelly and Tillerson yesterday. Right. Obviously, you know what their position is on the wall. Where are you on the wall in Arizona? Do you think it is necessary? Is something that you'd like to see across the entire state's border?
I'm for having a secure border. That means a wall in certain places, a fence in others, and a river, as we have in other parts of the border. It doesn't make sense, obviously, to have a 2,500-mile wall, but we do need a secure border, and we need good relations with Mexico. We have those. We cooperate with them on security measures, and one thing we need to do is help Mexico secure their southern border. We have a net migration south of Mexican immigrants. It's Guatemalans, El Salvadorans, Hondurans, and others who are coming up through Mexico. And so the key is to work with Mexico to secure their border and our own. And also our trade relationship. NAFTA has been great for America and for Mexico. That's part of the reason we don't have Mexican migrants coming north as much, because the economy is better in Mexico. We ought to celebrate that and continue to work with them to make it even better.
Are you concerned that the focus on the wall is going to increase anti-Americanism in Mexico and lead them? I mean, I've talked to plenty of Mexican leaders who believe that the next presidential election is going to be a campaign that is about who can be tougher on Trump, and that inevitably will lead to bad relations with Mexico?
Yeah, I do have those fears. I was down in Mexico City in November. There was obviously concern about some of the rhetoric during the campaign, particularly on trade. But I think that they were certainly willing to give the administration a chance and see where we go. And I'm still hopeful that we can have good relations with Mexico, both trade relations and on the security front. So I'm not willing to say that we're going to end up in a bad place. I think we've got a ways to go, and we can get there.
Senator Jeff Flake, being the optimist, always good to hear from you, sir. Thanks for sharing your views.
Thank you.